Supervisor Hirt, as seen in the Star Wars Andor series. Wait a minute. I don't want to say it before the spoiler warning. Warning! Spoilers ahead for Andor Season 2. Honestly, do I really need to say it at this point? I mean, it's been out for almost 6 days. Are those who haven't seen it actually going to watch it? Oh well. I keep the spoiler warnings for Andor Season 2 going for a week. After that, you're on your own. Still here? Of course you are, because you're the best ever. I'll start with the brutal ending that Supervisor Hirt suffered, rightfully so, when he attempted to take a small strike team in order to arrest Clea Markey. Seriously, the man got more holes in him than a flat earth theory. I did not see his end coming in that way, though, but it was well worth it. Thank you, Tony and Dan Gilroy, for making me see outside the box. I thought he'd be arrested or something for visiting Dedra Meero at her cell or something like that, but this was much more satisfying to a larger degree. Let's talk about that. You there, half paying attention. Look at your screen. See that red and white button that says subscribe? Press it. Then shift your thumb to the thumb pointing upward and press it too. I'm trying hard to get to 50,000 subscribers in order to free my time to make more sensuous Star Wars content for you all. And it really does motivate me to do better and more when I see the subscriber count go up, even if it's just by 1. Okay, maybe my videos aren't sensuous. We'll see. But I do try to keep them fun and lighthearted with no grifting. So subscribe, like, and share, because you want to. When Andor Season 2 started, we noticed a change within the ISB, or Imperial Security Bureau. It was barely noticeable at first. That change was the absence of Supervisor Blevin, and his replacement was none other than Dedra Meero's own adjutant on Coruscant, Hirt. What happened to Blevin? Maybe I'll give Andor Season 2 another viewing to see if I missed something. I would imagine it had something to do with the way Ferrix was handled and the Empire disgraced during the Ferrix Uprising, since that was Blevin's jurisdiction. But none of that was really Supervisor Blevin's fault. Dedra Meero took over that operation and it turned into a fiasco. Maybe she should have been removed from office, or whatever happened to Blevin. But how was it that Dedra Meero's assistant got the seat in the round room with Dedra Meero and Major Partagaz? I guess that isn't the main topic of concern here, though. Just something to think about. Leave a comment what you think led to putting the assistant of the woman who screwed up the Ferrix operation in Supervisor Blevin's seat. All right. So, in my last video, I asked if Dedra Meero and Major Leo Partagaz got what they deserved. Was Dedra Meero's conviction, then sentencing to Narkina, just? Did Major Leo Partagaz get off easy by taking his own life? And could we consider either of those cases justice for the atrocities they committed and ordered? I say no, because their crimes were never an issue as to why they ended up the way they did in Andor Season 2. If you don't acknowledge the criminality and use that as part of the reason they ended up in their cells or dead, and then there is no acknowledgement of a crime. Not that the Empire would ever see their actions against citizens as crimes, anyway. Only what they see as noncompliance toward the Empire matters, and totalitarian governments eat their own. But I have a different perspective on Supervisor Hirt. You know, the man who said he wasn't looking for glory. Supervisor Hirt apparently rose through the ranks of the Imperial Security Bureau sometime between Andor Season 1 and Andor Season 2. A great many things changed in the space between those 2 seasons, but this will be the one we discuss for now. Another time I'll get into Karis Nemik's manifesto being in the hands of the ISB. But Hirt graduated from the school of Dedra Meero. However, he hasn't learned a whole lot from her mistakes, has he? He even went to her for some bad advice when she was in jail. But I want to keep this question in the back of your mind. Did Hirt deserve the ending he got by being a meatbag shield for K2SO? Was it just for his perceived actions that led him to gaining audience with Major Partagaz? Just keep thinking about that. Hirt told Dedra Meero that he wasn't looking for glory. His motivations were the preservation of the Empire and its ideals. He didn't say that part. I did. Just now. You heard me say it. Anyway, so we see him at odds with Dedra Meero throughout the season. She waits until his day off to assemble a small strike team to arrest Axis, Luthen Rael. Luthen Rael, sorry. Then place him in the hospital to try to keep him from dying, as her attempt at arresting Luthen Rael was botched and he tried to take his own life. But with Dedra haphazardly going after Luthen during an inopportune time and alone, she wasn't able to secure Clea Markey as well. So she screwed up and Luthen was unplugged. All while Axis was under the jurisdiction of Supervisor Hirt, and I will get into why Luthen Rael isn't really Axis later in another video. Drawing Hirt into a meeting with Major Partagaz and Director Orson Krennic, in which he was humiliated for allowing this all to happen. He then went to Dedra Meero for advice on how to proceed. Really? You're going to ask the one sitting in a jail cell for advice? What do you think got her in that cell? Jeez. Nobody said the Empire was intelligent. In the same fashion of Dedra Meero, Supervisor Hirt assembled a small strike team in an effort to arrest Clea Markey. The only difference is that he didn't go in alone. Unbeknownst to him, she had friends everywhere that showed up to evacuate her and save her. Hirt and his team of go-getters charged to the apartment complex and were looking to possibly gain the upper hand until K2SO showed up. He grabbed Hirt and held him in front of him as the ISB strike team fired into Hirt, trying to hit the OP droid, I would assume, but those shots were pretty well placed and grouped, weren't they? Thus killing Hirt in yet another unceremonious death. Damn, I love those. Seriously, we don't see ceremonious deaths as often in real life as we do in the movies and TV series, so it's nice to see that some Hollywood writers keep the writing grounded in real life. So, Hirt is dead, the entire strike team is wiped out, and the ISB has yet another failure on their hands. An embarrassment. Hirt didn't seem as ambitious for power as some of the other Imperials that we have seen, though. He did look like he just wanted to uphold the ideals of the Empire. He also looked like he needed to eat a sandwich once in a while, but we'll skip that part. Peace, not so much. He was ruthless and uncaring when it came to the galactic citizens. So, with all we knew about Hirt in Andor Season 2, was his death justice for what he had done or what others had done? I say yes. I know that's a surprise, as he was killed by his own men technically. However, his ending was different than Dedra Meero's and that of Leo Partagaz in the fact that their endings were facilitated by the Empire itself and there was no involvement by the rebellion or any other victims. They were punished for what the Empire saw as sedition against the Empire itself and not war crimes. Hirt, on the other hand, may have survived had K2SO not shown up to whoop a little ass. It was K2 that held Hirt in front of him, partially as protection, but partially as a statement, showing the Empire will kill its own. Clearly, the members of the strike team saw Hirt being held and fired into his chest anyway, possibly hoping the murder droid would drop the limp body. So it was a rebel droid that caused the death of Hirt. And now, as a statement of poetic justice, Hirt was being dangled in front of the Empire for them to see, just as Salman Pack and Clem Andor had been in the past. Another irony of this is that K2SO was created as a protector of the Empire, a droid made to uphold the Imperial way. Now he is upholding a lifeless Imperial as a statement that K2SO was not one of them. And he was using the very Imperials he was made to protect as a human shield. It's quite a statement. Supervisor Hirt's death was justice. It may have been his own men that killed him, but it was the Rebel Alliance that reprogrammed K2. It was the rebellion's actions that caused Hirt to be in that complex in the first place. And it was a reprogrammed droid now fighting for the rebellion that expedited the death of Supervisor Hirt. At least those are my thoughts on it. Both seasons of the Star Wars Andor series haven't just given us some of the best Star Wars we have ever seen, but also some of the best television to date. The deeper meanings of just about everything in the show will be discussed for a very long time, and not just here on YouTube. That is, until Lucasfilm and Disney see that Tony Gilroy and Dan Gilroy have written and created something that most Star Wars fans highly enjoy. And he did it without the use of lightsabers, large space battles, Jedi, Sith, or anything Skywalker related. Can you imagine what could be done with a story written like this and incorporating most of those other things? Looking at you, Old Republic. Man, that would be so dark. I'll get the popcorn and beer. Let's get writing. But what do you think? Was Supervisor Hirt's death justice for the crimes against humanity and just being a douchey Imperial officer? Let me know in the comments. I do read them all and try to respond to as many as I can, time permitting. And don't leave yet. You still haven't subscribed. Go ahead and do it now. I'm not just looking to increase the algorithm. It all helps me gauge what kind of content resonates with you, therefore allowing me to make more of it or less of it. Until the next time, may the Force be with you, unless you use the Force to do stupid stuff and it gets bored with you and leaves.